Is the American dream of homeownership dead? While it is out of reach for a lot of people right now, there's still many people who are wondering, should I buy or should we continue to rent until the market is better for a buyer? Keep watching to understand both sides of the coin so you can make the best decision for you.
Woohoo!
If you keep track of the headlines at all, you will know that homeownership and affordability overall is at an all time low. Buying a home is a big decision, and affordability absolutely plays a part in it. 100%. With rates being high coupled with inventory being low, it can truly be a scary time to think about taking a step into home ownership. I completely understand. While, yes, I am a realtor, if you know me or if you've worked with me, you know that the last thing I will ever do is try to push you into doing something that has no benefit to you. What I want to do today is to talk about your housing choices. I'm here to give you the information and I'll show you the cost difference in renting versus buying a similar home in the same neighborhood. We'll talk about the net worth of homeowners versus renters and really the general pros and cons of doing either. After that, it's really up to you to make an informed decision that works best for your budget, lifestyle, needs, all of that. All right, now I'm quickly going to show you the cost of what you could rent a home for and what you could purchase a similar home for in a subdivision here in McKinney called El Dorado Heights. The first one is this rental at $23.50 per month, and it is a 3 bedroom and 2 bath. This one is very similar at 410,000 and is super updated, which you don't find in rental homes. The payment on this one is going to be about $29.50 per month. And of course, it's going to be more than the rental, but you also have to factor in the equity you would have when you sold the home. You can also always refinance in the future. Okay, so let's dive into renting right now and what's going on in the rental market. Just like with everything else, rent has gone up quite a bit from the recent years. Will this continue? The short answer is probably not. Despite the official data pointing towards slower rent growth, the official government measurement is still showing a pretty fast increase. The price of rents rose 7.4% from last year. This is actually the main reason why consumer prices are not fully under control and why the Fed refuses to consider cutting the interest rate. However, it's inevitable for rent growth to slow because of the construction of multiple new apartments and the Airbnb bans that are also in effect. That means inflation and interest rates should be lower next year. And we can never fully predict, but what is predicted now is that both renting and buying should become a bit more affordable overall heading into 2024. All right, so let's break down the benefits of renting. If you're relocating, if you're moving to a new area, renting really is ideal. You get to explore your surroundings without fully committing, and you get to see if it's an area you would want to consider living long term. Renting offers financial flexibility, typically requires a lower upfront cost than buying a home, and that makes it more accessible for those who may not have substantial savings for a down payment. No maintenance costs. As a renter, you're not responsible for major maintenance and repair costs. The landlord takes care of those expenses. You have flexibility. Renting provides greater flexibility to move without the commitment of selling a property. So that's advantageous for people who may need to relocate for work or personal reasons. Lower insurance costs. Renter's insurance is typically more affordable than homeowner's insurance, especially now with homeowner's insurance rates on the rise. Predictable expenses. So renters have more predictable monthly expenses as rent costs are usually fixed for the duration of the lease. Investment flexibility. Renting frees up money that can be invested in other ways, potentially yielding a higher return on investment than real estate. Now, there are some drawbacks to renting compared to buying a home, and that includes lack of equity. When you rent, you don't build equity in the property. Mortgage payments made by homeowners contribute to ownership and potential appreciation. Limited control. As a renter, you have limited control over the property. You can't make significant modifications or improvements without the landlord's approval. Rent increases. Landlords can raise the rent at the end of your lease, potentially making it more expensive to continue living in the same place. When you rent, you're essentially covering the landlord's mortgage, taxes, and insurance, plus a profit on top. There are no tax benefits. Homeowners can often benefit from tax deductions related to mortgage interest, property taxes, and renters don't have the access to these tax advantages. No long-term investment. Renting doesn't provide the potential for long-term investment or wealth building that home ownership can afford. Now I'll quickly show you this table that will show you how much you spend on average over the course of your time renting so you have an idea. I think a lot of us just pay our bills, but we never really look at the full flow of that output. Let's talk about the cons of buying a home in a market like this with higher interest rates, because there are some disadvantages. You are going to have a higher monthly payment, and this is the kicker, isn't it? Higher interest rates mean a higher monthly mortgage payment, and this can strain your budget and potentially limit the homes you can afford. Increased total interest costs. Over the life of the loan, higher interest rates can significantly increase the total amount of interest you pay on the mortgage. Potential depreciation concerns. If the housing market experiences a downturn or if property values decline, you may have concerns about potential depreciation in the value of your home. Impact on affordability. Higher interest rates can make homeownership less affordable for some buyers. What you could have afforded 2 years ago with much lower rates is going to be completely different than what you can afford with today's high rates. In a high rate environment, the housing market may slow down, and it definitely already has. So many sellers are locked in at a low rate and they don't want to move, which can be a disadvantage if you're looking to buy in a hurry. Now let's talk about the pros of buying a home. So regardless of the rates, US homeowners have a net worth 40 times higher than renters. On average, a homeowner's net worth is $225,000 versus $6,300 for average renters. Why is there such a huge difference in net worth? 2 words for you: appreciation and equity. Okay, so what about when the rates are high? While higher interest rates can definitely present some challenges, there are potential pros to buying a home in a market with higher interest rates. Lower competition. So in a high interest rate environment, there may be fewer buyers in the market, leading to less competition for homes. This can potentially lead to more negotiation power as a buyer and less chance of a bidding war. This also means potentially lower home prices. In some cases, higher interest rates can lead to lower home prices. As affordability decreases, it makes it possible to find a more reasonably priced home. Stable investment. Real estate is often considered a stable long-term investment, and while high rates can impact monthly costs, your property may still appreciate well over time, providing a good return on your investment. Tax benefits. Homeownership comes with certain tax benefits, including deductions for mortgage interest and property taxes, which can offset some of the higher costs associated with high interest rates. Building equity, and this is a huge one. So despite higher interest rates, you're building equity in your home with each mortgage payment. That can lead to increased financial stability over time. At the end of the day, renting or buying really depends on your individual financial situation, your long-term goals, and the specific conditions of the real estate market in your area. The best advice that I can give you is, if you find a home you love and you can afford it and you're comfortable with the payment, then go for it. If not, renting might be the way to go right now. And hey, that's okay too. If you ever have a question or you want to explore which option may be better for you without feeling pressured, reach out via text or email and we can chat about what might make more sense considering your unique situation. As always, I'm here to help, and have a great rest of your week.